What natural food is to the body is what the Word of God, prayer, and the presence of God is to the soul. Because you ate this morning doesn't mean that you will not get hungry in the evening or somewhere during the day. The same way you need to keep feeding your body. You need to keep feeding it with nutrients and nourish it well so that it can grow strong and healthy. Is the same way your spirit man needs to be fed consistently, constantly. If you only feed your body and you don't feed your soul and your spirit, then you will only be growing on the outside. You will only be strong on the outside, but life is more spiritual than the physical. There's another realm and dimension that we live from. It's not just the physical. We have the spirit realm. And when there are things that are orchestrated from the realm of the flesh, that we can use the flesh to overcome. For example, when the body is hungry, you don't need to pray in order for you to be satisfied or full. When you're feeling hungry in your body, what do? You deal with that hunger by going to the kitchen and make some food, or go to a restaurant, buy some food. That you can deal with that situation in the natural sense. But there are other situations and circumstances that are not orchestrated in the realm of the natural. They are orchestrated from the realm of the spirit. And you cannot use the flesh to deal with things that have been orchestrated from the realm of the spirit. And so when your spirit man is weak, you will not be able to tackle the situations and circumstances that affect your spirit and that affect your soul. And that is why prayer and daily prayer is important. The other day I was talking about Psalm 27 verse 7 that says, "One who is full loads honey from the comb, but to the hungry, even what is bitter will taste sweet." That means that if you're satisfied, you will even say no to honey. But the moment you're hungry and you're feeling empty, hunger here means emptiness. It means lack of. It means deficiency. It means insufficiency. If your soul is hungry, do you know what? You will begin to feed it with things that are bitter, but they taste sweet to you because you're hungry. And we see that anytime you go to the fridge and you're hungry and you don't find food and you don't want to cook, you go to a shop and you take a snack. What you're doing is that you're feeding your body, but you're not going to feel satisfied because that snack has no potential to fill you up. And that's what we do to our souls and our spirit man. Whenever our spirit man will express hunger, instead of going to God and going to prayer and going to the Word of God and soaking in the presence of God, because that's how we feed the soul. We feed the soul in the presence of God. The soul and the spirit can only be fed by God, because that's what our spirit man is, the contact with God. That's how we contact God, through our spirit. And your spirit can also contact other evil spirits, because that's what it was meant to. We interact with the spirit realm through our spirit. So if your spirit man is weak, if your spirit man is malnourished, if your spirit man has not been fed by God and with God, then you will begin to look for other things to fill it. And it doesn't matter whether they are bitter, they will taste sweet to you. My emphasis today is that just as we feed our bodies consistently, let us make sure that we are feeding our soul. And you know, your soul you can be able to tell when your soul is hungry. Let's talk about some of the signs that your soul is hungry or your spirit man needs to be fed. One of the signs you are feeling hungry is that you will begin to feel weariness in your flesh. So when the body is in need of food, physical food, you will begin to feel weariness and weakness. You begin to feel some form of tiredness. And the moment you eat, you get so rejuvenated, you get so replenished, and you're so happy, and you're so energized, and you're so strengthened. So one of the signs that your soul is weak is when you're feeling weary from the inside. When you're feeling weakness from the inside. And I don't know whether we are attentive. I don't know whether we can be able to tell when our soul is weak. I'll give you an example. In 2023, we lost everything. I've given this story over and over again, but in case you're new. When we lost everything, I fell into depression. And instead of going to God for answers, comfort, joy, and peace, and also reconciliation and restoration of the things that we have lost, I went to other things. I started watching movies, binging movies the whole night and the whole day. And because I have not had sleep the whole night, my body is tired. My soul is starved because all I'm doing is that I'm feeding my flesh. I'm feeding my flesh. I'm feeding my flesh with entertainment. I'm feeding my flesh with all that entertainment that comes with watching movies and comedies to make me laugh, to make me feel good. But I would laugh outwardly, but on the inside I am sad. I'm dealing with sadness, and that's why I'm going to those comedy skits, those movies that will make me feel good, because I'm looking to satisfy what I'm feeling on the inside. But obviously they don't have capacity to do that. And every time I would binge series the whole night, the whole day, I am tired. I have not slept. I have not had enough rest. So the following day I would be so cranky. I would be so angry. I would be so easily irritated and easily offended. Like, you can say just a small thing, I will get into trouble, my husband and I, because of small things, because of little minute things that I did not have business caring for. But because I am tired, my soul is thirsty, I am not nourished from the inside, anger would manifest, pride would manifest, and all sorts of things. That's how you tell that your soul is hungry. When you begin to get offended easily, your soul is hungry. When you begin to move in the flesh, your soul is hungry. Every time your flesh is in control of you and your emotions and your actions, influencing your decisions, influencing your character and your behavior, it means that the part of you, because man is a tripartite, we are body, soul, and spirit. The part of you that is weak, the part of you that is strong is the flesh. And that's why you're moving in the flesh. But when your soul is full, when your spirit man is strengthened and awakened and alive unto God, you're not led by your flesh, you're led by your spirit. And just as the body needs to feed constantly to gain strength, to be able to move from one place to another, You need to feed it so that you can be able to go preach for that mission. That's why we don't fast, 365 years in 365 days in an year. We need to eat so that when God sends you to preach, you have energy, your body can carry you to go preach. You remember Elijah, God telling him to eat and drink, for the journey is still far. So just as your body needs to eat, your soul and your spirit needs to be fed. And how do you do that? You feed your soul and your spirit through the word of God, through prayer, soaking in the presence of God. And once you soak in the presence of God, there's a joy. Your soul is impacted with joy. Your spirit is ministered to by the Spirit of God. And you come out of that place joyful, peaceful, strengthened, revived. You have fed. But guess what? You will need to come back again. Another time. After some time, you will need to come back again for another feeding. If you don't do that, the flesh will lead you.